come here to kick ass.
These are the most legendary hero entrances in the movie's volume Professional Hitman. Yeah, if this was the dude on Mugen Train, then I don't even think Akaza would have messed with the demons. Up next is the grand finale of M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable trilogy. It's a standard case of saving some damsels in distress, but David Dunn doesn't exactly look heroic while doing it. I mean, even though I thought this was a villain when he first showed up, but I'm glad he was there, otherwise the Beast would have gone to do some more seriously messed up stuff to those poor girls. It's a simple moment, but highly impactful, because the moment we found out that Unbreakable and Split were in the same universe, we all wanted to see a showdown between David and the Beast. You could even say that it's the live-action version of when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. The fight that followed was okay, but it's the entrance we're focusing on, so I won't elaborate on that any further. On a serious note, that Beast is one tough cookie, isn't he? Who would have thought that Charles Xavier could get possessed by Hank McCoy's mutation in the real world, eh?
Who are you? I am you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, putting straight down like a rhinestone.
Now it's time for some robotic brilliance. Our boy is so back, and we all were thrilled to see him in action once again, especially after seeing him die earlier.
I'm tired of little things getting in my way. Me!
Your captain, my captain.
It's a super cool entrance and all that jazz, but more importantly, it's Bumblebee's efforts that flipped the battle's odds over to the Autobots. The final fight wasn't looking too good for Optimus and co, but I guess all they needed was their comrade alive and well. There's also the fact that Bumblebee manages to take down a key opponent before even landing. And of course, I can't leave out the part where the music is actually playing out of his radio. Man, they spent so much time hyping up the main villain Scourge in this film, but all that limelight was stolen by B in less than 2 minutes. Sure, you could say that the audience is biased, but I don't think they care about that at all.
I have come here to kick ass.
It's time for the ladies to take over. I don't know what people keep saying about the older movies of Hollywood not being equal enough, because Sarah Connor is definitely a strong female character. It's when she shows up to rescue Grace and Dana from the Rev 9 Terminator. Yeah, it didn't look like Grace was going to be able to fend off the villain, but then Sarah shows up with way too much aura. She smacks the Terminator away and shoots at him multiple times before blowing him away with a freaking bazooka. How badass is that? And then she even throws away the weapon as if it's just another Monday. And we could definitely see that this version of Sarah Connor is not going to just sit there and watch while AI takes over the world. Yeah, the movie may not have been great, but this scene did impress us all.
I'll be back.
In at number 21 is a forgotten favourite of the TV Regent. Yes, eyeliner Batman strikes again, and it's from his favourite spot, the shadows.
I'm vengeance.
Emerging from the darkness may be seen as scary and creepy to most, but we already know what to expect from this rendition of The Dark Knight, so it was cool to us. The gang at the Metro looked quite intimidating, but everyone likes to show they're the boss until the main character shows up. Bruce Wayne doesn't even land the first strike, he waits for the enemy to attack him, but Jesus Christ, the first dude definitely got an Arkham-style beatdown, didn't he? We know that Batman prefers to not take your life, but I don't know if it's any better for you to be eating with a straw for the rest of your life, eh? Despite all the eyeliner jokes I've cracked on Robert Pattinson, I do like him as a younger Bruce, you know? Okay, this next listing is a little bit odd. That's because it's an entrance that didn't suit the exit. Apollo Creed is a great boxer for sure, but I think he should have known that this kind of entrance would have definitely ticked off his opponent. Regardless of how the fight against Ivan eventually went, I'll say that this is the fanciest entry anyone has ever made to a boxing match. All those dancers, and even James Brown made an appearance as himself while singing his hit Living in America. It's so grand that it was actually embarrassing for Apollo when he wasn't able to land any damage onto Ivan during the actual face-off. But yeah, I do have to credit the way he made it to the ring because that's what the list dictates, doesn't it? Of course, if Apollo had won the boxing match, then he would have been catapulted straight into the top 10. But you know, if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
Not sure how people feel about the movie, but this one scene is worth its weight in gold. After all, it's a trusted duo back in action, and with all the heavy promotions showcasing them, it was obviously hyped up as well. Han Solo and Chewbacca are both legacy characters in the Star Wars franchise, and people definitely wanted to see more of them because of how iconic they became. So when the trailer for The Force Awakens dropped, we were all ready to spend all of our life savings on the movie, and the entrance didn't disappoint, did it? It's not flashy or anything like that, but it's sudden, which works in its favor. Yes, you could argue that it would have been more effective if they didn't reveal these characters in the trailer, but then how would Disney have made so much money at the box office, eh? That's not the point though, as we're only discussing how we were all hit with a strong dose of nostalgia seeing Han and Chewbacca take on the big screen. Yeah, I may not have seen the OG trilogy in the cinemas, but watching these films at home was an important part of my childhood.
This is a Millennium Falcon. You're Han Solo.
I used to be. Wasn't he a war hero?
We've got ourselves a parody film now. Obviously, I don't let genres affect my listings, especially when the person in question is Beyonce, who never falls short on sass. You know, it's funny because Austin Powers enters with a lot of drip too, but there's no way you can outshine Queen Bey. Wow, I just sounded like one of those pop stars, didn't I? But can you blame me? Everyone's looking at her and not even batting an eyelid towards the man whose name is literally in the movie's title. She's doing what she does best, which is singing and performing, but I just can't control myself with the lyrics. The one about the Midas touch, but touching it too much was hilarious AF.
He's got the Midas touch, but he touched it too much.
And yeah, Goldmember himself makes an entrance too, but he's the villain, so he doesn't qualify for this entry anyway. Man, I don't know who it was that named Beyonce Foxy Cleopatra, but they sure got it right. Okay, now we're going from parody to the real thing. Of all the things we got to see in Casino Royale, I wouldn't have expected that Daniel Craig was a fan of Halle Berry's iconic entrance in Die Another Day. We're already familiar with the new James Bond by now, but this scene was definitely something. I can't speak enough for what it did for the ladies, but it did ooze masculinity, even though it was a brief moment in the film. Believe it or not, this inspired a lot of teenage boys to go to the gym back in the day. Yeah, it's still kind of shocking that 2006 was almost 20 years ago.
Underneath the mango tree.
We're doing one even better for this next entry. Honey Rider in Dr. No will always be an entrance that no one can forget. It's the very first James Bond movie, and she was a huge part of its success. I know I mentioned in the earlier entry that Daniel Craig was kind of mimicking Halle Berry, but it should actually be Ursula Andress because she did it first. Anyway, this stunning beauty immediately captivates our very own 007, and this scene remained engraved on everyone's brains, even after they got done with the movie. Sean Connery is a legend for sure, but Ursula is the one who steals the show here without a doubt.
At first, they used to try to catch me, but they couldn't. Now I don't think they bother anymore.
Well, he will this time.
Look who we have here at number 15. It's a cameo for Family, which is enough of a hint for you to know it's Dom Toretto in a very memorable cameo for Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Yeah, it did seem odd that we got a whole movie without any of the main characters from the first film, but that changed the moment we saw this American muscle raring to go. Even Sean was impressed by what he saw, despite not knowing he's actually a couple of movies late into the franchise.
I didn't know he was into American muscle.
was when he was rolling with me.
Anyway, it was a huge deal for fans of the series to see Vin Diesel here, and I guess you could say that this only furthered the notion that producers should make as many installments with this brand as they could.
Police Constable Nicholas Angel displayed great aptitude in field exercises, notably urban pacification and riot control. Academically excelled in theoretical coursework and final year examinations.
Up next is a wild one. Hot Fuzz isn't a parody film in a strict sense, but it does give us unlimited aura in one intro. Nicholas Angel is one of the most hyped up characters I've seen right off the bat, but it's the kind of goofiness that's made Edgar Wright such a good director. Although this is considered to be a comedy film, we could safely say that Nicholas Angel could have easily gone Spec Ops, no questions asked. Everything about him is made to look so perfect that you wonder if he can be bested at all.
Became heavily involved in a number of extra-vocational activities. To this day holds the Met record for the 100-meter dash.
The best part is that he's a police constable, and the activities he's doing aren't exactly groundbreaking. It's excessiveness at its humorous best.
The resolution of Operation Crackdown in the last 12 months has received 9 special commendations, sustained 3 injuries in the line of duty, most recently in December, when wounded by a man dressed as Father Christmas.
Clear the way because things have just gotten very serious. It's the man, the myth, the badass legend himself, Chuck Norris. There are so many jokes on Chuck Norris that it's hard to even keep a tally.
You're the one people call a lone wolf?
I've been called that, but I have no.
In the sequel to The Expendables, we see our main squad in a whole lot of trouble, but it only takes one man to bail them out in this situation. And yes, it's Booker, who's so badass that when a cobra bites him, he's not the one who dies out of the two.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
I like the meta humor there, and the entrance was an overdose of sass following in the footsteps of ultimate brutality. Yeah, Chuck Norris doesn't need to turn on the shower, he just stares at it until it starts crying.
Can you help out?
Sorry, Barney. I work alone.
I understand. Thanks for showing up.
My pleasure.
Who's that stumbling around in the dark?
Calm yourselves, gentlemen. I mean you no harm. I'm simply a fellow weary traveler. Whoa.
Well, how the turntables. Christoph Waltz was a villain then, but he's a hero now, and I'm confused as to which version I like better, to be honest. Of course, King Schultz isn't on the same level as Hans Landa, but he does have one heck of an entrance. He's got such a harmless entrance because it's just an old man riding a horse carriage. I mean, how dangerous could he possibly be? It's the follow-up to his entrance that actually enhances its impact, which is why it's so high up on the list. I like that Schultz can be so polite and brutal at the same time, so it's a shame that he couldn't live till the end of this movie.
Your hair should make a statement.
As long as it doesn't say thank you very much for the Country Music Award. Ow!
Here, you'll be lucky if I can get it untangled.
No mercy.
Can I borrow that drill?
Ooh, hello.
Up next is a makeover for the ages. Sandra Bullock has played tons of roles, and Gracie Hart should definitely be in her top 10. Her transformation into an absolute beauty was amazing, and that walk alone was enough to get her to this position on the list. Yeah, I also like the whole prep scene that led to this appearance, so...
Thank you. More fluffy. Another 2 coats and a sealant.
Credit to Michael Caine too, who played Mr. Vic. It's a shame we don't really get movies like this anymore because the world does need more miscongenialities.
I have gel in my hair, I haven't slept all night, I'm starved, and I'm armed. Don't mess with me. Ooh.
Ooh.
Whoa. I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm good.
Beg your pardon. Forgot to knock.
Kicking off my top 10 is a larger-than-life introduction. Whenever there's a new actor playing James Bond, the first movie he does is always going to be crucial. And as luck would have it, this appearance from Pierce Brosnan was enough to convince the world that he was indeed the right man for the job. It's a pretty elaborate setup, and there's a lot happening, but the first couple of minutes are enough to tell you that Bond is back. I do feel bad for the dude who got interrupted in the middle of catching up with the news, but such is life. Up next is a crucial lesson on how one should enter like a king. Entering certain clubs can be a pain for most people, but not the mask. I mean, if you're gonna pull up in a limousine in dapper suit, then I don't think there are many guards out there who are gonna stop you. Even this dude tried to be professional, but there's only so much you can do against the sassy king. Jim Carrey was really in his bag when he played this role, and it shows.
Let's rock this joint!
The next time I need to enter a club that's exclusive, I'm gonna pull off this same move.
Are you on the list? No. But I believe my friends are. Perhaps you know them. Franklin, Grant, and Jackson.
It was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. The orders are on their way.
In at number 8 is further proof that Dumbledore started the concept of aura farming. Man, we really underestimated his game, didn't we? Showing up out of emerald green flames. Yeah, there are so many pretty cool entrances before this moment too, but do you really think that I'm going to give them preference over this one? If this wasn't badass enough, Dumbledore continues to refer to Voldemort as Tom, which shows the old man ain't afraid of him at all. And yeah, we all know how epic the fight that followed this moment was, so there's no need for me to elaborate on that any further. Up next is the only right way to enter a stick fight. It was only a matter of time before we got to see John Rambo on this list, and his entrance is straight heat. He's walking in with a whole audience cheering him on, which is the kind of enthusiasm you need before a fight. Man, the whole sequence is a 10. The energy, the awesomeness of Sylvester Stallone, the crowd, even the opponent. Man, it's all just amazing. I won't talk about the fight because we're not covering that aspect, but from a holistic perspective, it's a great way to showcase the man we all know and love as Rambo. He did it in Predator for Volume 1, and here he is again at number 6. What better way to show us Arnold Schwarzenegger than a scene that's loaded with all the testosterone in the world? No, seriously, if you ever feel like you want to become more masculine, then you should just watch Commando. The entrance is a crazy build-up for John Matrix, and if his muscles weren't enough, we see him carrying a log as if it's nothing. This entrance sets the precedent that the protagonist is someone you don't want to mess with, and he doesn't say a single word either. Of course, it's nice to see that he's good husband material as well, but all the men of the 80s must have had pretty high standards to live up to. Imagine your parents asking why you can't be more like John Matrix, and you can't even answer back with, "That's Arnold Schwarzenegger, for the love of God." Now we got ourselves the God of Thunder in yet another entrance in the top 5. Yeah, he's carrying out the good work from Volume 1 just like Arnold, but when you have Thunder, Aura, and the Immigrant Song, it's hard to ignore such greatness. Man, this whole sequence went harder than any Fast and Furious finale, minus the family values, of course. Thor literally strikes his own sister down with a god-tier lightning blast, And somehow, we're all okay with it because, well, Hela was seconds away from turning her brother into dust too. The sheer spectacle of Thor tapping into his true power is wild because these are the kind of power-ups you see in anime. But of course, this is just the prelude to the actual entrance where he descends onto the battlefield in full glory with his thunder and lightning surging through every frame. The way he lands in the midst of so much chaos is cinematic perfection in itself. Pair it with an epic background score and you've got one of the most electrifying entries ever filmed. Up next is a trip back to the 70s, because yours truly just can't help admiring films of the past. Here we have ourselves a classic bike entrance from Easy Rider. There aren't many families that have captured the spirit of rebellion like this one. It's the definitive road movie of its era, with Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper embodying Billy and Wyatt perfectly. This scene is basically two drifters who hit the open road on their roaring choppers, chasing nothing but the thrill of freedom itself. From the moment they ride out, decked in leather and those fancy stars and stripes helmets, the message is loud and clear. These aren't just bikers, they're symbols of an America breaking away from conformity. If I were to provide my own interpretation, their journey through deserts and highways becomes a countercultural anthem. And we also have that legendary moment when Steppenwolf's Born to Be Wild kicks in, perfectly syncing with the sound of engines and wind. It's pure cinematic magic which defines the late 60s spirit and continues to resonate decades later.
Yeah, break out some of that cash, man.
You ugly mess. Did you forget who I am?
Yes, the greatest always find themselves closer to the top. All hail the ultimate aura farmer known as Optimus Prime, but he never fails to amaze us with feats beyond humanity's comprehension. Okay, maybe I'll stick to modern English now, okay? The whole Shakespearean angle ain't doing it for me, is it? Anyway, do I really need to justify why Optimus Prime's entrance in The Last Knight is anything less than a top 3 scene? Our man makes the perfect landing off a robotic dragon. And if that wasn't enough for us, he decides to flex his skills and his savagery by giving us the ultimate combo of physical and verbal annihilation. This is exactly the kind of scene that makes all the boys go, heck yeah! You just know he's gonna wreck it when he puts on that mask of his. Pretty much all of his opponents are toast the moment we see it on screen. Bumblebee's revival entrance was cool and all, but he'll have to do a whole lot more to reach Optimus's level.
I am Optimus Prime.
Get away from her, you...
Just missing out on the top spot is a monstrous encounter. It's fair to say that Ellen Ripley is the most badass queen of all time because she locked heads not only with a xenomorph, but also the freaking alien queen. Saving Newt was always a top priority, but we never expected Ripley's entrance to be so darn awesome. I mean, the line she says here is considered to be amongst the most legendary of all time, and the fight that follows was insane stuff for the 80s. My parents told me the entire audience in the theatres cheered and screamed in delight when Ripley delivered those immortal words. I wish I could have experienced that too, but even so, as per my opinion, this isn't just a great line or entrance, it's a pivotal moment for Ripley's character, as she spent nearly 2 whole movies running away from these monsters, and here she snaps at the final boss of the Xenomorphs to save her somewhat foster child. See, cinema has always had strong female characters, people just need to look in the right places to find excellence.
Have you not? What?
Yahoo! Look out!
Topping off today's video is a peak moment from the Star Wars universe. It's kind of the best last-minute save ever if you ask me, because Luke Skywalker was cooked until Han Solo came in right in the nick of time to steal the glory and save the day. The earlier entry from Force Awakens was cool and all, but there's no way that a bit of fan service can match up to this classic. What makes this entrance so special is the fact that there's so much tension building up right before he shows himself. Even the audience is just sitting there wondering, how the heck is our boy Luke gonna get out of this one?
It's away!
It's obviously not just one man who turns things around, but if it wasn't for Han, we probably would have never had any further Star Wars movies. Well, that could have been a good thing if you're considering the stuff post 2015, right? But there's a lot of good content before that era, so Harrison Ford deserves the credit. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.